Philip and Bartholomew. You know, it'd be nice if he was named Nathaniel in one of these two accounts. That way I could use both names, Philip and Nathaniel Bartholomew, so that whenever you see only one name or the other, Nathaniel or Bartholomew, you know he's talking about one person. Because right now, if you don't know for sure that Nathaniel is the same as Bartholomew, you're going to wonder, who is this Bartholomew guy? We've never mentioned him. What does it say in Matthew? Matthew 10, it also says Bartholomew. And then we get more interesting names in Matthew. Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, but that is Judas, not Iscariot, later named. I'm not sure. Mark, Thaddeus, and Simon the Canaanite. James. Judas, the brother of James. That Judas is Thaddeus. And Lebbaeus. Okay, anyway, before I get into all that, after Bartholomew, comma, and then Matthew and Thomas. They're combined in Luke. Matthew and Thomas are not combined in Mark. I have no idea if they know each other. I have no clue if they have any type of friendship or family relation. So I don't know if it should be with a comma or without. In Luke, after that, it has that Judas, who's the brother of James, they should be named together. That's what I think. James, the son of Alphaeus. And then instead of going to Simon the Zealot, it should go to Judas, the brother of James, because they're related. Just like how it names James and John. Thaddeus is Judas. Yeah. So in Mark, they're named together. Thaddeus is Judas, not Judas Iscariot. So it's James, son of Alphaeus. It inserts Simon and then goes back to Judas/Thaddeus, his brother. So I'll do that. So again, even in Mark, where it usually breaks everyone apart, even Peter and Andrew, they were among the first brothers named. It still, in Mark, breaks apart Matthew and Thomas. This is why I'm getting into this. Matthew and Thomas, should they be separated with a comma? I think they should, because even here, well, Simon and Andrew were separated in Mark. But they're combined in Luke. Matthew and Thomas are combined in Luke, but they're separated. Again, I'm just going to go with a separation because I have no idea if there's any relation. Matthew and Matthew. Maybe I'll go with and Matthew here. Philip and Bartholomew. And Matthew. And Thomas. No, I'll skip the and I'll go with and Thomas from both. Don't want apostrophe. I want an other thing. There we go. Tom, other thing, us. Okay, Thomas and James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, who in Luke is explained to be the brother of James. I'll include that. So the next is, and James, the son of Alphaeus. And James, the son of Alphaeus. Okay, James, the son of Alphaeus is both. Although the word son is in italics in Mark. And Thomas. And James, the son of Alphaeus. In Luke, it does break apart Alphaeus, Simon, and Judas with commas, but I don't think you would need it. Well, after you're naming James, who is the son of Alphaeus, it would make sense to have a comma. And then Judas / Thaddeus, his brother. Should I have Judas Thaddeus, or should I have Thaddeus Judas? I think it should be Judas Thaddeus. Jude Thaddeus. That's how they name him, at least according to Wikipedia. Thaddeus. It just goes into and Thaddeus. And is in both, so I'll put Thaddeus now just because I already have the color. Thaddeus. He's named in Luke, however, as Judas, the brother of James. So I'll have Judas come before Thaddeus. This is Luke only, so yellow. Judas Thaddeus. And then in italics, also only in Luke, the brother of James. Mark goes on to name Simon the Canaanite, although Luke has Simon the Zealotus. I think other translations have it Simon the Zealot, because he was perhaps what you would call nowadays a freedom fighter. He wanted to And I believe he actually did, because they called him the Zealot. Fight off the Romans and kick them out of their country because they were under Roman occupation. That's why they called him the Zealot. So, should he be named Simon the Canaanite, which it says in Mark, or Simon called Zealotus? Okay, that called is perfect. I can have him be named Simon the Canaanite, called Zealotus. I don't know if it would fit the other way, if I would say, and Simon called Zealotus the Canaanite. Actually, that would work. Which is more important, that he's a Canaanite or that he's called Zealot? I think it's more important that he's called Zealot, because if that's how they actually called him, that is more prevalent. So I'll put it that way. Simon called Zealot the Canaanite. Simon is mentioned in both. Called Zealotus is only in Luke. Called Zeteklotes the Canaanite. Now, after Simon, Zealots, I already named Judas the brother of James. Now, and Judas Iscariot. Mark and Judas Iscariot come. Okay, so that's the same. Cursed above all humans. Judas Iscariot, which also betrayed him, is mentioned in Mark. Luke says, which also was the traitor. I could have both. Which also was the traitor. Oh no, I can't. If I could say who betrayed him, or that betrayed him, it would work. Or maybe I could say which betrayed him. Which also was the traitor, which betrayed him. It's a little weird. Which also was the traitor. I really want it to be who or that, but the word's not there. But I want to have them both there to emphasize how horrible Judas was. Which also betrayed him. No, only Luke now. Which also was the traitor. And then which betrayed him. Now, I'm not going to say also, because also was mentioned. Which betrayed him. And Matthew the publican. So Matthew is all three, but the publican is only from the Gospel of Matthew. Another semicolon, which it really does make sense because it's a strong separation between these guys, which actually further confirms that Matthew and Thomas should be separated, because Matthew names Thomas and then Matthew. But Mark and Luke have them in this order, so I'm going to keep them in that order. There's still a comma there. Before Philip and Bartholomew, there's a semicolon after John, his brother, which I don't use. And I'd rather use that than a colon after the Sons of Thunder, because that would lead us to believe that naming James and John the Sons of Thunder have something to do with what comes next, which would be Philip and Bartholomew, but it doesn't. It has absolutely nothing to do with them. So I want to change that to a semicolon. You know, there's not really a need. I use it between Peter and Andrew, and James and John, the semicolon. So I'll use it between Philip and Bartholomew and Matthew. But then after Matthew, I'm wondering if I should use a semicolon again between him and Thomas. Yeah, I'll just use it again. Matthew the publican and Thomas. Thomas is all three, but that and is not before Thomas. So I'll just leave it. And then James, the son of Alphaeus. And James. Now, James, the son of Alphaeus. The son is in italics. I've done this before, where I include only the location where it's actually written. So James is in gray. The son is from those two, Mark and Luke. Of Alphaeus is from Matthew as well. And Lebbaeus. Oh my goodness. And, so the comma and, so I'll have that in gray. Alright, I'm going to have to put Lebbaeus in here as well, because that is talking about Jude, because it then says whose surname was Thaddeus. So maybe I should put, and Judas only from Luke, Lebbaeus only from Matthew, and then because it follows Matthew with whose surname was, I can put that also in Matthew, and then Thaddeus. Thaddeus. Luke. That is from Matthew and Mark, so it would be dark red. Now I know it's in dark red. You know, because Thaddeus is his surname and it's mentioned after his name of Lebbaeus in Matthew, I'm thinking of having it say Judas Lebbaeus and then save Thaddeus for after it mentions the brother James. So it would say Judas Lebbaeus, the brother of James, whose surname is Thaddeus. Even though it would be out of order according to Luke, it would be in order in Matthew, and it would make more sense for Mark. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll take Thaddeus and I'll move it after James and Judas. Now I need to name him Lebbaeus. This is only from Matthew. Lebbaeus, comma, whose surname was, and then Thaddeus from both. So now it reads, and Judas Lebbaeus, the brother of James, whose surname was Thaddeus. It makes sense because when it mentions... I thought it might differ from Simon, Peter, and Andrew, but actually Simon Peter is the one with the surname. Andrew is the one who mentions he's his brother. But with Judas, or Lebbaeus, he's both the one who's surnamed and who is the brother of someone else. So I could pick one. I could pick either. I could have whose surname right after the name, like in Peter, or his brother of James right after his name, like with Andrew. I think it makes sense like this. Judas Lebbaeus, the brother of James, whose surname was Thaddeus. I don't think it would make as much sense to say Judas Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, the brother of James. Would it make sense? Well, if his surname is what they more commonly refer to him as, like with Simon Peter, I guess it would make more sense. This is Simon, whose surname was Peter, and he's the brother of Andrew. Yeah, you know, because this is going from this guy, Judas Lebbaeus, and then saying he's the brother of James, whose surname was Thaddeus. It'd be as if saying James's surname is Thaddeus. I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to change it back. Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, and he is the brother of James. And the brother is in italics. I'll add that semicolon from Matthew, and then also from Matthew, Simon, so now Simon is all three, called Zealotus, still only from Luke, then the Canaanite, also from Matthew, so Matthew and Mark, dark red, these three words, and Judas Iscariot are from all three, added from Matthew, which Mark and Luke, still dark yellow with a comma, and now, because I thankfully have this who from Matthew, I can finish the sentence the way I originally wanted to. Judas Iscariot, which was the traitor, who also betrayed him. So, also is in all three, that's in Matthew. Betrayed him is Matthew and Mark. I'll end with the period from Luke, but now it reads much better. Which was the traitor, who also betrayed him.